Good evening, everybody, or hello, everybody. I need to stop saying good evening because when I go to making this a podcast, who cares if it's evening? It might be listening in the morning, right? So, hey, everybody, how's it going? All my Lorcanaramites out there. so, Jake is with me tonight. Jake, how you doing?
Hello, how are you? I'm
Hey,
good.
I'm okay. Had a horrible set championship this last weekend,
Oh,
but that's all right. I got over it. So, well, no, I
I'm
didn't
right
because
there with you.
yeah, I'm talking about it. So evidently I didn't get over it. So yeah, we so tonight some of the things that we want to do. If you notice, Sabrina's not with us. She's out enjoying life, which I would encourage everybody to do. I appreciate it if you're in here listening to us, but go enjoy life. I'd rather you do that. And if enjoying life is playing Lorcana, all the better, right? And help somebody else enjoy life. Don't be one of those people that ruins people's lives and tries to make people miserable. Just enjoy life and pass it on to others. So if you're out there in chat, thank you for joining us tonight. Go tell your friends to come on in here and join us. If you have not already clicked that subscribe button or like button, please do so. Just so we just get that follower count up. It opens up little things on Twitch for us to use, and but more importantly, it helps us to feel better about what we're doing. So. So again, Jake's here with us tonight, filling in for Sabrina while she's out there enjoying life. And tonight, what we want to do is we want to talk about set rotation because we had some news last Thursday, and
Some
just
news.
some news, right? If anything, Ravensburger is consistent. Every
With
lore cast is
dropping the ball.
something we're disappointed in.
Yep.
And I don't want it to be like that. But guys, I'm just telling you, at Ravensburger, man, optics are bad, fellas and ladies. It's bad. I'm here for the long haul with the game. You're not going to lose me. And
Same.
I'm not going to criticize you for the sake of criticizing you. It takes a lot for me to go out and to say something. But usually if I see something wrong, I'll say it. The optics are pretty bad. Mainly this time, it's around the announcement of the set rotation, the new set Fabled, which we were all excited about. So let's talk about why we were excited about Fabled, right? And Jake and I talked about this just prior to the podcast. Jake, what's the most exciting thing to you about the Fabled set?
I was a really big fan of the new rarities that they introduced, like the
Right?
iconic and the epic. I think
Yes.
that those were so cool. Just the ability to have some of the reprints and then the new cards and getting something above enchanted, so it's even more rare and something that's probably going to be worth more money. I think just increases the likelihood of someone opening or buying a pack as compared to previously where people were just kind of like sick of it almost.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say one of the few home runs that Ravensburger's had in the past year and outside of the World Championship in the Nationals. I say since Nationals because Nationals was great. The hype all the way up to Nationals was just incredible. And then there was the dark ages, right? That period of silence where nothing was said. Nobody knew what was happening.
Anything.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, they poke their heads up out and go, we got an announcement coming up, and, and
Just
so,
to keep us
yeah, right. And,
hooked, honestly, or else we were
and then
gonna
we
start dropping
waited
off.
and yeah, then we
Yeah,
waited and waited. And so,
patiently.
right. And then just the string of just bad news, I wouldn't say bad news. It was just like disappointing announcements. The few things highlights in there. I think that Worlds was great. The fact that we announced a DLC season 2, regardless of how you feel about how much you got, I think that's great. And personally, I understand why it's limited. It doesn't mean I like it. I just understand it. I kind of get it. There's lots of factors in play here, but I've always learned one thing in business is that you always leave people wanting more, right? And so, I kind of
They're
like,
doing a
well,
good job at
yeah,
that.
they're doing a great job with it, guys. You are following
Mhm.
that principle to the T. So the thing is when you leave them wanting more, you sometimes have to give them more in order to
You gotta
keep them and
deliver
hold on
at
to
some
them.
point.
Right. Yep. And so this last Thursday, with the announcement, their first announcement into Fable. So the thing that excited me most about Fable, and again, as I mentioned, it was a home run I felt when they announced the rarities, the new rarities. in Fabled. The iconics and the epics. Those iconics, the artwork, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait to see even more of those.
I
Will
think
I
they're gonna
get?
have like a special foiling, right?
I don't know. You know
I
what?
think they were like embossed or something like that. I don't know,
Right.
but they're
It'd
gonna
be,
be definitely cooler.
yeah. Well, we won't know until we get one, and everybody
True.
wants to pull one, right?
Ooh.
And
Hopefully you
and
can pull one.
and I even want to see one in my shop, and then whoever pulls it won't be my friend anymore, because
Like what?
because I'm going to spend the rest of my days jealous that they got it and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just going to ruin my friendships. So but yeah, I think they're wonderful, and then I really like the epic rarity too, because there are some cards that we'd like to see get that kind of treatment. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
alternate there's not alternate art, but that full frame treatment in foil, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just something extra. I feel that it's gonna feel good opening in a pack.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think so. It's gonna be
Mhm.
like opening a Huey, Dewey, or Louie, or
Yeah, one of those is gonna
is
mess you
that
up and trip
is
you
that what
out.
it's
And like,
gonna be like?
oh,
Right?
there's an enchanted.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Is it gonna be like that? So, but I think that's pretty neat. But the thing that excited me the most and still excites me about Fabled is the opportunity that maybe some cards that we felt that I really wanted to see get the enchanted treatment will get reprinted and get the enchanted treatment. Right. So, and I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. If they don't reprint Hades Infernal Schemer and make him enchanted, that is an opportunity missed, folks. That is an
agree.
opportunity missed. Because that card is just screaming to have an enchanted version of it made. Um, so, so yeah, I think that they did well with that. In fact, um, I I normally my wife's not around to listen, is she? No, okay. Yeah. Maybe she's listening live. Honey, if you're listening while you're on the road, turn the sound down on this part. So I usually buy a case of each set. And then by the time I get done with incidental packs from tournaments and maybe a box, I end up opening 6 boxes, right? So,
Yeah.
it's just what it ends up doing. And I quit. Once I realize I hit 6, I quit. I won't buy anymore. And so, um, for Fabled, I was like, maybe I'm gonna order 3 cases of it, you know, because I'd like,
Was
yeah, I want
yeah.
so many of those alternate art cards, and not alternate
Hmm.
arts, but the alternate frame cards, and a bigger shot at one of those iconics.
Absolutely
But
true. Yeah.
after Thursday, guess how many cases I'm gonna buy now?
Maybe one. Not even.
I don't even think I'm going to buy one. I'm just gonna
I
buy
was kind of the
packs and
same way. Like I
yeah.
I usually get 2 boxes instead of a case, and I'll usually end up maybe making a case with just packs from prize and whatever I end up doing. But this time I was like, oh, this is like I need that guaranteed enchanted. I need whatever is going to be guaranteed out of a case. Like I need to
Mhm.
get that case for this set. But after like
Yeah.
seeing all those reprint, even like okay, so I did see like some of the spoilers and some of the leaks and stuff like that. I don't have a single big Robin Hood that I've ever opened or pulled or
Man,
gotten in my hand for the Steel Robin Hood. So I did see that that was leaked. So if that does end up getting reprinted, I have another opportunity for
no
that. So
leaks.
that kind of
Leaks aren't real.
exactly. So that's why I was completely going against all of this, all of that stuff going into this as well too. But I really did want to just have that opportunity. But after seeing that, it's really tough for me just going into that knowing that I was so invested in the game since set one, just knowing
Mhm.
all those cards are going to get reprinted. It's like I have all those cards. I might not
Yeah.
need to open as much as I thought.
Yeah, and the alternate frame cards, wow, they're pretty neat. I like that, and pretty excited for the level of rarity. And I hold out hope based on a under the breath comment that was made when it was first introduced. That in the future those frame cards will have alternate art versions of them. So that would be kind of neat. But as of now, you're just collecting something that has a different frame on it. I mean,
Yep,
that's cool. I mean, it's different, right? It's another rarity level up, and I won't knock it. I think that is definitely a step in the right direction. Step in the
for
wrong
sure.
direction,
Yeah,
reprinting. In a set of 204 cards, 171 are going to be reprints.
That is way too
That's
many.
that's yeah. So that leaves 33 cards, 33 new cards in a set of 204. Now, you could say that because we're doing set rotation, it's addition by subtraction, right? So it's, I mean, that's possible. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. Who knows what they're thinking? I'm not going to say anything bad.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're
Keep her
thinking?
coming.
So it's, the way I look at it is I try to look at things from their point of view and say, well, why are they doing this? What's the end game here? And you got set rotation, right? So people will still be excited. I think people will be excited to play the game because the format's going to be shaken up. Nothing to do with new cards being released, right? Format being shaken up. And you're only getting 33 new cards introduced into the format. And you're losing 204 times 4 is 816 minus 171 is going to be what, 645 cards, maybe. I think my math is right, maybe not. 645 cards being removed.
A lot more than you're gaining, yeah.
Yeah, you're removing 645. So that's definitely a format shakeup, right?
Yeah.
That's like, it's like, why don't we have a ban list? We're just going to ban 645 cards.
We're just going to have all these cards go away.
Yeah,
I mean, that does work. I mean, I feel
right?
like when they did start out, they were obviously building this card game, so they're going to find their grounding a little bit ways in, so they can
Yeah.
get rid of some of those earlier cards and then work their way from there, which
And
makes sense. But with the reprints,
my knock is
it's
not
just
on rotation. That rotation's a
no.
healthy
Oh, I think
thing.
it's the best. I think it's definitely
It's
the best thing.
great decision, guys. You will
Yeah, for
not get
sure.
any argument from me out of rotation, and even reprinting cards, you won't get any argument out of me on that. Because certain cards,
Much needed.
there's certain staple cards, which we'll look at tonight, right? Some of the
Exactly.
things we're looking
I
at.
have
Yeah.
one on here. That's very
Yep. Yep.
controversial as well
So,
that I want
yeah,
to be reprinted.
that's right. So we got a list tonight of cards that we hope do not come back. And then we got cards that we hope will come back. I'm not speculating on, like, this is not a guessing game for me at all, like what's going to be rotated when we do this list tonight. It's a desire game. It's about desires.
Just for me.
Yeah. Right. So I'm not in here trying to think like, hey, yeah, I got 10 out of 10 right. No, it's not about that. I'm just saying, man, I hope they reprint this. Um, you know, um, but yeah, so the number of reprint cards, that high percentage, while it opens up the door for older players, newer players to get into the game and to experience that thrill of, opening cards from the first few sets. Is it really going to be that exciting if you think about it? I mean, it's like, are they getting Elsa? Are they getting Enchanted Elsa? You're never going to get that. You can't recreate that
Feeling.
experience, right? Are we getting Sad Beasts reprinted? How excited were you when you opened up a Diablo? Now you might hate him now, but when you got one of your own, it was pretty exciting, right?
Foil Diablo.
Or or as Jake doesn't know the excitement of opening up a Robin Hood, so
Nope. Do not know that one.
in those 6 boxes I bought from this last set, you know how many Namaris I got?
Jeez, how many?
0.
What?
0 Namaris. I own 3 now,
Out of 6?
but out of 6
Okay,
boxes.
yeah.
I own 3 now
feel like-
because I worked my hiney off trading for him. So, but
Yeah. Post rotation, I hope that card might be decent too.
I think it will be. It's already decent now. So
I think so. Yeah, it's decent, but then after everything else goes away.
Its slot will get opened up when Beast rotates out, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so here we are, Ravensburger. I want you to know, if you don't know already, I really love this game. I think you guys got a wonderful game on your hands, but I'm disappointed right now. It's people who have invested in this game. They're disappointed, and I just caution you and tell you, and you might like, who am I to know? I work for a living too, so I know with the folks that I deal with on a daily basis and stuff too. I know a lot about customer experience, but from a different point of view, right? So, it's be careful. You take some things for granted. You think, oh, well, they'll be excited because of set rotation. We can get away with a lot, or they're just going to be excited to get the DLCs. It doesn't matter how many we tell them they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's backfired considerably if that's your mindset.
That's not a good way to look. Yeah, for sure. Because you're gonna lose people, and then you won't even have those people there to be able to be like, oh, they'll be there but they're not there anymore.
And maybe there's a fear that if we give them too much, you won't be able to sustain it. Like
for
the DLCs and
Ravensburger,
stuff, right?
it could be. I feel like them as a company might not know how to control a beast of a TCG when it comes to some of the players.
Yeah, but again, I'm here and I will tell you these things because I care, not because I want to bash them.
Yeah, definitely not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
It's definitely for the constructive criticism for us to have a good, solid game.
So let's talk about some of these cards here. So if you're with us in chat, what we're going to do, and if you're listening to us live, what we're going to do is we're going to switch screen. We'll go through some cards. I'll make sure we read all the cards for folks who don't have the screen to look at it. But feel free, if you're with us, to let us know the cards you'd like to see. Well, let's start off with this. We're going to start off with the cards that we want to see go. Okay. So when set rotation happens, so in case everybody, let me just fill you in on what's happening, right? So Thursday at Gen Con, Ravensburger will probably more than likely start revealing cards from the rotation set. Most of what we'll probably get are cards that we're getting reprinted. There won't be too much excitement. Oh, look at this card. No, it's going to be, Tinkerbell's getting reprinted.
This is reprinted. This is reprinted.
And so maybe there'll be enough new cards in there to keep us kind of excited, anyways, so this is kind of our last, like, hey guys, here's what we'd like to see come and go, and it's not like they're going to change their mind. It's not like they're going to run and pull the cards off the press based on our PowerPoint here. But this is just an exercising. We're getting some things off our chest, right? So here we go. We're going to fire it away. All right. So the way we did this, Jake and I did this, is that we each created a list, and we took the list, we combined them, the cards that pretty much were, we both had a top three in our list. And so we just kind of, we'll hone in on those top three. The other cards we're going to kind of mention as honorable mention, and we'll just kind of throw them out there and maybe just talk briefly about them. And then we'll spend a little bit more time on our top choices in the processes here. So here we go. So the first three cards that we threw out there, actually the first six cards we're going to do are cards that Jake decided that he wants to see go. It's show them the door, get out of here, don't come back.
Get out of here. No more.
Yeah. All right. Now, a lot of these you're going to look at and go, yep. In fact, when I saw Jake's list for the first time, I went, yep.
Like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. All right. So here we go. All right. And bam. We got Prince John, greediest of all. He is our favorite 3-cost uninkable 1/2 with Ward, who quests for 2. But that ability of when your opponent discards one or more cards, you may draw a card for each card discarded. Second card, Merlin Rabbit, 4-cost uninkable 2/3 quest for 1. When you play this character and when he leaves play, you may draw a card. By the way, he is a amethyst card and Prince John is an emerald card. And the third card on our screen that we're looking at is that big 7-cost uninkable sapphire item called Lucky Dime. Exert this item and pay 2 ink. Choose a character of yours and gain lore equal to their lore. So, Jake, tell me why you chose these cards. Tell us why you chose these cards.
They're all uninkable as well, if that's not a common theme. But I'll start with Prince John. I feel in the current Emerald package of what we have from these 4 sets that are rotating, there's a lot of discarding and just like hand manipulation, which is a very, I think it's a toxic way to play almost. I guess people consider that. It's just making the unfun. You just don't get to play your cards, so it's unfun. But just giving Prince John the ability to gain value off of that and have you also gain cards while they're losing cards, I just feel is kind of unfair.
So why aren't you being hypnotized?
Because
It's not
that's just
Prince
one.
John.
It's
Hypnotized
not
doesn't
Prince
have
John.
ward and hangs
He doesn't
around.
have a ward. You're also questing for 2 at
All
the
right.
end. You have 3 of them
Yep.
on board. It's a multi. I just think it's something that you
I don't
can't
disagree
really
with you on
play
the card.
around too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. In fact, on
Yeah.
my list, while I didn't put it on here, I almost put Cogsworth up here for that reason. At one point, Cogsworth was my most hated card in the game because
Yeah.
that Joker just
Ward.
like people would put
Yeah.
him on the board, and then it was like you had to trick him into questing with him and turn him sideways. And
Hmm.
and a lot of times people didn't fall for it, and I'd be like,
They did
"Arr."
not want to do that,
Yeah,
especially
so
whatever colors you're playing. Know that they can't even do anything
right,
against that.
yeah. All right, Merlin Rabbit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm an Amethyst player. All right, you better go ahead. You better be careful.
I think even without the bounce package, I think this is still a good card because whether you end up questing with it and then it gets removed, you're still getting 2 cards out of it.
Yeah,
Whether you're able to do something with it, even, I don't know, post rotation bounce package, if they don't do it, I feel like you're still getting a
yep.
character on board and 2 cards, and then it could sing
Okay,
for a 4 cards. Yeah, I think that
all
that's
right.
still pretty good.
And the
Not that
dime.
that's anything. The dime I feel is a nice comeback card for Sapphire, but I feel if you're in an instance where you're just doing your game, the person can come back from 0
Hmm.
in this current 1 through 4 set and can just win with 1 turn.
I had a lucky dime in Tamatoa, and I was losing 19-1, and I won the game.
Yep,
So there you go.
that's about it.
Yeah,
If you just have your
that
items
happens.
out, you just
It's
win without
real.
even having to interact with
Um,
the other opponent at all.
I'm in agreement with you on these cards. Is I don't think they should come back. I was honestly Rabbit. John is a no. Prince John's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Rabbit, I was kind of like, because right now right now as an Emerald Amethyst player, I struggle with how many copies of Rabbit and how many of Genie, right? And usually
think
I end up going with 4 Genie, 2 Rabbits. And if a card is getting cut down to 2, maybe it's not as bad as what it used to be. There was a time when it was horrible, and
I
maybe
do
I'm not
agree.
winning maybe I'm not, winning DLCs because I don't have 4 Rabbits too. So,
We were going
right.
completely out of Rabbit and then going to Genie, but I think it's kind of worked its way back in almost a little bit, and I've seen more
Yeah.
bounce stuff, so
Yeah.
I think we're just done with it now.
And Dime never caused anybody any problems. It's the characters that he chooses. So, all right,
I
let's go
was,
to
yes, I was, yeah,
go ahead.
it's debatable.
We'll go to the next one, right? No,
Doesn't mean
I'm
I
in
didn't like it
agreement.
though. I did like that card.
All right, here we go. Big Sisu, 8 cost unequal Sisu empowered sibling, 5/4 strength willpower, quest for 3, shift 6. He's a flipboard card. His ability when you play this character, banish all opposing characters with 2 strength or less. Then we have the Muses, Emerald, 4 cost inkable, 2/4 quest for 1 with ward. Its ability, whenever you play a song, you may return chosen character with 2 strength or less to their player's hand. And then finally, Ursula, Deceiver of All, an Emerald, 3 cost inkable, 2/3 quest for 1. It says whenever this character sings a song, you may play that song again from your discard pile for free, then put it on the bottom of your deck. So real quick, Jake, let's start with Sisu. Do we even
Sisu
have a discussion on this? Because I think the whole
mm,
world hates this card.
gives you a 5/4 that could sing
Yeah,
B prep quest for 3,
right.
destroys the opponent's board, keeps your board,
Yep, I
can
would agree.
shift.
One-sided
Yeah.
removal needs to go. One-sided mass removal, I think really
One-sided
needs to go.
removal is not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think that that's it.
yeah.
That's why I think B prep is a
Right. I
very
agree.
fair card.
The Muses. This one's who hurt you with the Muses, man?
I think I might be triggered by playing an aggro player, and that card just can just
It
turn the
wrecks you
board,
as an
and then I'll
aggro player. I got you. I got you.
absolutely
And
for sure.
Ursula.
But I do think
Yep.
that Yeah, so the 2 power is situational for sure, and against other decks
You know, your
might
next
not be
card,
it might not be that bad of a card, but I don't like it.
so it hurt you.
It hurts me. And same with the I think that just being able to double sing puts them in an advantage where they're singing. I guess in the 1 through 4 set where you have the storm and the let the storm rage on, just
Yeah.
being able to double sing that and just gaining cards and
So
taking out the board is busted.
I think Ursula is just paying the price for the songs that were printed. It's you hate the songs, not necessarily Ursula.
I would agree. And then, but they did reprint "Let the Storm Rage On" though, so I think that if
Did
we're
they?
living in a world where we
Or
have,
you mean Strength of the Rage of
not the,
Fire?
I meant yes, I did mean that. I mean, I
Yeah, yeah.
apologize. Yes.
They're
So I
all the
think that
same,
that's
right?
still
Except my
kinda
daughter
in a way.
corrected.
You don't get that card draw, which I think is pretty good for Storm, but you just do more damage with Strength.
Yep. Yep.
So having one or the other, I think Strength is a good card because you
All
still
right.
need those characters on board. But with Ursula,
So
I don't
these
think. I
cards,
think if you're gonna print more cards too, it just makes or more songs. You're gonna make Ursula better. So
well, that's
not that that's a
to
bad
me,
thing.
I contemplated like so I almost had Ursula on my I want to see reprint list,
As
and the
mm,
reason being is that there are only a handful of cards that excited me enough that I pulled out and said, I want to build a whole deck around this card. And that's one of them. I wanted to
yeah,
develop a
for
whole
sure.
strategy around this card. That card is one of them. And I was like, I'd
Yeah.
like to see that come back, because I'd like to be able to do more with it in a way, Okay.
Mhm.
So that's great. That was Jake's list of cards that have left scars in his life. Why he doesn't like those. I'm going to do my six. My six, I just chose one from every color. It just kind of ended up that way.
Oh, yeah. I had a
You
lot
know,
more of one specific
yeah,
color than the
yeah,
other.
I know. You can tell Jake's bias whenever you see
I
his.
was. Yep.
He's hating on certain colors here. For Amber, I chose Rapunzel. I like Rapunzel. Don't get me wrong, but I think that it's time for her to go. And for those who don't know Rapunzel's ability, and I'm not going to read all the stats on the cards anymore. I'll just hone in on the ability that makes it so that we don't want to see the card come back again. When you play this character, remove up to 3 damage from one of your characters. Draw a card for each 1 damage removed this way. Yeah, it's bailed out so many people who don't deserve to get bailed out. you know, so
He's adding me.
yeah, Amber Steel, and aggro players. Goat,
Me.
I personally don't want to see Goat go, but I understand why it needs to go. We have other options to pick up. I think that lore gain from characters on play is an ability you want to keep in the game. Goat's problem is that when he leaves play, you gain a lore too. And honestly, like I think that people would have a problem with Goat if Goat came into play and didn't do anything and still lost the lore when he leaves play. I think it's that leaves play, and the fact that he could just be bounced and manipulated, but everybody would gripe and complain, man, all you gotta do is get to 18 and drop that. Well, no, you got to get to
Yep.
18, drop this, and not lose on the next turn. So, you
Exactly.
still got to play right. Under the Sea, for the same reason that Jake chose Sisu, I don't like one-sided mass removal. I just think it provides an imbalance to the game that makes the game not fun. So, it's a card that when played, the game is over,
Mm.
for
Yep.
the most part. So, any comments on these cards, Jake, before I move to the next ones?
No, only thing is that yeah, the Under the Sea puts him on the bottom too, so you couldn't even
Yeah,
have any sort of additional
I know,
graveyard
right?
room
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah. Mm-mm.
no recursion.
Not good. Not good. Not a fan.
For Ruby, I chose Maui Hero to all. And honestly, I let me come back to this card because I have something to say about this. McDuck Manor. If that card never comes back,
Cool.
I'll be so happy. I can't tell you how many times I hate sitting across from 1, much less 2, much less 3 on the board. I mean, it's like is the 9 willpower on this. If it had just been 6 or 7, it'd have been tolerable, but 9 is just it's too much. It's too powerful of a card, you know, for its cost. If it costs 5 ink, maybe. And SME. Now, my friend and I here talked about SME this week on the way back from Set Championships. We'll be glad when this goes out because every Steel player plays 4 copies of SME. They don't even have to think what they're going to include in their deck. It's an auto include. And if it's an auto include, it's got to go. That's just the way I feel. So
and then when you're building decks specifically around those cards, I think
right. Yeah, it's like it's great to have something as a 2-drop as an option, but when you're like, well, I'm not even gonna play anything else because this is my 2-drop. It just if it's an auto include, it takes away creativity. I like
body quest for a lot.
Go. Maui, I felt for the longest time that Maui, it's a very balanced card. I'm not going to argue the balance on it. I think it fits the colors just right. It's the right power, right strength, and it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. The problem with it is that just like SME, if you're playing Ruby, you almost feel like you got to put 3, anywhere from 3 to 4 copies in, anywhere from 2 to 4 copies in. And so if the card is an auto include, again, I go back to it, then I think it's time for it to go so we can get something fresh in the game. Not knocking the cards playability or anything like that. It's just I'm more concerned with freshening up rotation. All right, so these were our honorable mention cards. We spent a little bit of time talking on them, and we got to be careful or we're going to run out of time tonight with our list. So let's get into our top list, and we'll start with a choice that I made. This is my number 3 most hated card in the game, and I'm ready for it to go. Madame Medusa. So Madame Medusa, if you don't know what she does, essentially when you play this character, you banish chosen opposing character with 3 strength or less. How many cards have not been played simply because the old saying was, well, Medusa banishes it. Medusa banishes it.
Banishes. Yep.
Now, in recent days, I won't say she's fallen out of favor. She's just kind of hiding. I know if I'm playing, I'm putting her in my decks. I
would still, I'd still put her as like 2 or 3, or even if you're still playing bounce, 2, yeah, for sure.
So, I think we all know why this card needs to go, right? Next one is Jake's card, Madam M. Fox. When you play this character, now let me read. Part of the reason why I'm pretty sure this card is going is because of its cost and its strength and willpower. So I'm going to read those because that's part of it. 3 cost, inkable, amethyst card, 4 strength, 3 willpower, has rush, and it says when you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. Go ahead, Jake.
Okay, I think at 3, it's a really big rush for power is pretty big, especially against aggro or just in general too. But also being able to throw something back into your hand as well too is really powerful. Just to be able to get a free quest or to be able to just get value out of something or protect something. I think everything about this card is really, really good in the way where it's too good almost.
I personally feel that if she didn't have the rush ability, it would be a great card to keep around. But because of the rush ability,
for sure.
One of the problems I have with it is there were, like Madame Medusa, I wouldn't play a lot of cards because of the prevalence of Fox in the meta.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, if you're building or playing, it's like, I can't quest this turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Cusco from the first set, right? 2/4 quest for 3. Now it's going to get rid of the Fox if the Fox runs into it, but you're like, well, heck, I can't play it because of 3 cost. Yeah, couldn't do it. Okay, now my next choice is already kind of gone, and that's Hiram Flowersham. Now he's going to be unbanned for Infinity. So I'm telling you guys, just don't even think about it. As you ever see the movie Walk the Line when they're in the car riding, don't even think about thinking about it.
We don't have Popsicle anymore. We don't have any of those anymore. So we could just bring Flowersham back, right?
Yeah, right. So So I'm saying don't reprint him ever. When you play this character and whenever he quests, you may banish one of your items to draw 2 cards. I'm not going to spend much time talking about him. He got banned for a reason. Just don't reprint him. All right. Next one. This is Jake's choice. is Cinderella Ballroom Sensation.
One
Hey,
of my
somebody
favorite
joined us in
cards,
chat.
though.
Yep. Yep. Somebody, one of your buddies joined us in chat there,
Oh
Jake.
yeah.
All
Let
right.
me see. All right.
Cinderella, Singer 3, cost 1. Jake, why you be hating on her?
I play her all the time. I think she's a great card, but with what the cards we currently have and her ability to just stare you down and say play
Yeah.
something with two toughness. I think
Yeah.
it's you
Yep.
just if you're on the draw and you play against a Cinderella, you just don't want to play one drop.
Yep. Yep. And for those of you who are joining us, might be joining us, what we're doing is we're going through our cards that we're saying we don't want to see come back after rotation. So not knocking the card's power. In fact, a lot of them aren't too powerful, right? Not even knocking the fact that I like playing
Too
with them.
good.
It's just that what they do is they stifle creativity. They take away too much freedom, really, to build and to be creative in gameplay. Predictable lines, right? And I agree with you. If we would have dipped into current cards, I would have added the Sapphire Belle to this list because she's Cinderella B, right?
Yeah,
The same reason you shouldn't have something that can sing a 3-cost song on turn 2. I just think that that's fundamentally wrong. So,
I agree.
especially with the 3-cost songs we have out there. All right.
That we currently have, yeah.
Yep. All right. Here we go. My next card this is my card, my choice that should never get reprinted is Popsicle. I
Mhm.
I've had this conversation with many people. Nothing wrong with the card that comes into play and drawing a card. It replaces itself. That's fine. And even being an item for you to utilize with some of the banish effects with items. But the problem that we have is the fact that this item can banish itself.
Yep.
And that's where I have the problem with it. If it couldn't banish itself, and rather you'd have to have some other engine to banish it, that requires a little bit more deck building and work. But all this is just recursive card draw for the likes of things that can retrieve items back. Merlin's carpet bag, Tamatoa's, and so if you want to bring it back, bring it back. I wouldn't even say bringing it back as an unequal is acceptable because it doesn't matter. They're still going to do the same thing. But the whole, because it can banish itself, it can freely move from play into the discard pile in order to be, I'm going to use the word reanimated, even though it was never animate to begin with, but brought back, so yeah, they were, they already, they banished Fortisphere. They talked about ban Fortisphere. They talked about banning this card. There was a reason why that was talked about. Just don't bring it back. Just let it go.
Nope.
Yeah.
Let it go.
All right. Jake's number 1 card, which was my 1A or my 1B, is Diablo. Yep. If anybody doesn't know what Diablo does by now, this is Diablo Devoted Herald, that nasty guy that, first of all, you could play him for free by shifting him to discard an action card. That's a problem. And then, during each opponent's turn, whenever they draw a card, while this character is exerted, you may draw a card. So, Jake, why did you choose Diablo?
Why didn't I choose this card? Because there's so many things about this card I'm reading that are just so tough to deal with. Especially because they're printing the 1-drop Diablos too. They had the 1, but then they kept printing them as well too. So if you miss your 1-drop Diablo, it's like, oh, okay, maybe we won't get it as much of card draw for the opponent this turn. But then they printed another one, and then they printed a 2-drop. And then just being able to have an ability where you cannot interact with it at all because you have to draw a card at the beginning of your
Mm-hmm.
turn just automatically gives them a card, I think is something that you can't really play around, and it's not fun. And
There.
then it kind of stops you from doing your things where you want to draw cards.
So
I think that
this game, it has answers in a variety of forms for different things, right? And there are answers for Diablo. But whenever you have a card like Diablo or Tamatoa or Hiram Flaversham, where no matter what deck colors you play, you've got to build around it, you've got to deal with it, then I think it's time you step back and you look at it, because you don't, what I really like is the freedom to create and to build decks and to try different things. But then there's certain things like the Madame Medusas of the world, the Foxes, the Hirams, all these cards we're talking about, they stifle that creativity. They polarized the meta. And while Diablo, went away for a while, he reared his ugly head and came back, and always in a discard deck too, which is crazy.
Doesn't make it even more any
Right,
more
yeah,
fun.
right. Probably the most polarizing deck. All right, my number one card that should never get reprinted, and it won't ever. I hope not, because they errated it, is the original Bucky. So, for those who weren't around for the original Bucky, I'm just going to read what he does. He's a 2-cost inkable emerald card, 1/1 with Ward. Now that's problem number one. He's got Ward. Problem number two is he costs 2, at least according to Ravensburger when they errated him. And then problem number 3, whenever you play a Floodborn character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. This is the one we tell stories about. We're going to tell our grandkids about. Kids, back in the day, there was this evil little squirrel that ran around that terrorized everybody who
no
played
cards
this
in
game.
hand, turn 4.
He took everything. He stole your nuts. He took it all. You couldn't do anything when this card hit the table. And you pair him with the card we just talked about, Diablo, and it was just an incredibly horrible time to be playing Lorcana unless you were playing that. And it was.
I would,
and you
I
could
would not
say,
succumb to play that
right,
deck.
and you could say, well, it won Vegas, right? Luke won V Wonderland. Won Luke Goodwin. Won
Yes.
Vegas with it, right? And Toronto was won with a variant of discard with this too. So it's like it had its moment in the sun, and you say, well, there were decks that could beat it. Yeah, there were decks that could beat it, but there were enough of these running around at tournaments that made my life miserable. I play this game to play this game, not to play this game and watch somebody else play it.
Exactly, and you just take all my cards and I can't play them. So I'm not playing the game.
Anyways, it's highly unlikely we'll see this Bucky come back, but I say this because you can conceivably print another card with the same stuff, right?
Reprinted it already, but just a completely different card.
Right, yeah. So anyways, there's a reason he got errated. Don't ever bring him back. This was an honorable mention for me. This was kind of like bonus. Diablo was really the one that I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Diablo, we're done with.
What do you guys think in chat? Any other cards that we missed in here in our list? I can go back and review them real quick. We get rid of Prince John, Merlin, Lucky Dime, Big Sisu, the Muses, Big Ursula. Well, not Big Ursula. Ursula, Deceiver of All. There's a Big Ursula that should come back, I think. Rapunzel, Merlin, Under the Sea, Maui, Hero to All, McDuck Manor, Mr. Smee, and then, of course, our top cards, Madame Medusa, Madame Mim Fox, Hiram Flaversham, Cinderella, Popsicle, and Diablo. And then, of course, we had to mention Bucky. So, all right. The cards we want to hang around. So we kind of had don't want to go too far into it. Spoilers. What we want to do here is basically we did the same thing. Jake had a list of cards that he wanted to see stay, and I had a list of cards that I wanted to see stay. And some of them were like, I want to see them stay for the health of the game. At least my choices were not necessarily because they were my favorite cards. Although one did come in here that was my favorite. Which, by the way, remember that because one day we'll be doing a giveaway, and knowing my favorite card might be the trick to get that. All right. Here we go. Jake, the first 3 cards come from you. We got Yen Sid, Powerful Sorcerer, 1/3, 2-cost, inkable amethyst card. He quests for 1. When you play this character, if you have a character named Magic Broom in play, you may draw a card. Also, while you have 2 or more brooms in play, he gets +2 lore. We got Maui, Hero to All. We already talked about him, what he does. And I can't wait to talk about Thebes. Thebes, the location, who is a 2-cost inkable steel card. 1, you could cost 1 to move a character there.
Hmm.
7 willpower. I got to turn my head sideways to read it. During your turn, whenever a character banishes another character in a challenge while here, gain 2 lore. So, Jake, real quick, why these 3 cards? Why do you want to see them come back?
Yen Sid, because even when this card was initially announced, we had a couple brooms in it originally. I am a huge Fantasia, Phantasmic, any sort of Fantasia broom fan. So I believed in this card from the beginning. And when it won World, that was crazy. So I believe that we could still get some broom action, and I think we could get a full broom deck out of it. And
All right.
that's just the key component
A
to
kid can
rotate.
dream, right? A kid can dream.
Yes. Maui, I believe, like you said, is a very fair card. I think not being able to quest, it's really high statted, but the recklessness and like 5 is still appropriate enough, I feel, for red. But I think if we're gonna, like, even with the spoiler, I know that this is only spoiler based, but if we're gonna live in a world where we have the big Robin Hood, I'm not sure if the small Robin Hood shifts, but if we're gonna have that big Robin Hood, I think that that is a really solid answer that I don't know of any other answer to that Robin
Mm-hmm.
Hood right now that we have, unless they print something.
Madam
But I think
Medusa.
that's a fair opposite end of the ink or like the color
Okay.
wheel, like
Yeah.
a good like answer to it. And for Thebes, I did want to add one location, and I looked through all of them, and I thought that this one always saw play. And for 2 ink and having 7 willpower or toughness, I forget which one it is, but the
Willpower.
yeah, willpower. I think that's pretty high statted for being 2, and it costing 1 to move is pretty good. And then the new Mushu having that like red steel deck and the believers of that, I feel like if this was able to rotate, it would be a true addition to that deck. Even though they already play that, I feel like that'd be huge for it.
Okay. All right. I can't disagree with any of your choices at all. I
Yeah,
like Yin Sid because
seven, seven is like
it's
kind of like
yeah,
that, like the McDuck Manor too. I feel like if you drop that down on 2, like having 7 is pretty big.
yeah, yeah. I like the Yin Sid choice. It's one of those
Yeah,
cards where I talked about it just screams at you to build around it, right?
brooms.
Here we go. Your other 3 choices before we get to your top choices. Hades,
Okay.
Infernal Schemer. Whenever you play this character, well, he's 7 cost uninkable. Whenever you play this character, you may put chosen opposing character in the player's ink wall face down. And then, of course, there's Mufasa, that 5 cost inkable amber card, 3/3 quest for 2. When this character is banished, you may reveal top card of your deck. If it's a character card, you may put that character into play for free, and they enter play exerted. Otherwise, put it on top of your deck. And then finally, Aurora, Dreaming Guardian. She basically gives all your other characters ward. So go ahead and fire off these, Jake.
For Hades, I think that that's a really good answer at a high cost, being uninkable. And I think if you're ramping in blue and just getting there it's just a solid, pretty fair card for what it is, and it ramps them too, so you're still giving them something. I think it's good, and it should see rotation. And I think spoiler it may have, so cool. And then again, Enchanted. We'll see that next.
Leaks don't count. Go ahead.
Exactly, but they're out there though. Mufasa is one of my favorite cards from the past 4 sets, and I think we really haven't seen its true potential because we have some of those removal cards and some of those things to just be able to like get rid of it before it even gets that first quest and puts you in a position where you're like just deal with it. I think that kind of stinks and it makes it a little worse. And even though we did reprint strengths, that might not make it good, but if it does end up rotating, which it may or may not have, I think we're kind of in like a more character based like meta, so I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that would be super good for it. And Aurora, again with the same thing, character based meta. If we're gonna have that, giving them ward is good because it's not like Cogsworth where we're giving them something and then we also have protection ourselves. The only sort of protection she might have is just being able to shift. But if we're not having anything super like rotating that's super low, that's what Aurora. I don't think that that's going to be super effective. But I was just always a big fan of Aurora and her stats and what she did. But she saw play early, but she could come back. I believe it.
Okay. All right. Good choices.
Hmm.
Yeah, Hades, I lean towards hatred. but um,
Mhm.
mainly because I hate Blorple decks and that's their go-to. And it's always like, I know they got a Hades in their hand. Why am I even going to bother playing my Tamatoa?
Mhm. Yep,
But
you know that they're
just
gonna
gotta,
get there really quick
you
because
just
they're
gotta goad
always
it out of their
ramping there.
hands. Yeah, just gotta goad
Oh,
it
there
out of
you
their
go.
hands. That's it. All right. My choices. I took the same approach that I did with the cards that I wanted to see rotated out, and chose one from each color that I felt really needs to come in. Mainly because I feel like they capture the flavor of that color just right, and I think they're balanced cards that just provide health to the meta. So I got Fire the Cannons, deal 2 damage to chosen character. That's a steel card. It costs 1 unequal. I think it's a good balanced card. Friends on the Other Side, I know, to me, I think is a good draw card. It's probably, you draw 2 cards. It's a song you can sing. I like that card ever since I first saw it. And at one point, it was the only draw card we had in the game that saw play for the most part. Um, Ariel. Now, this one might be controversial because some folks are like, we got to get rid of Ariel. But I think she really captures the whole song mechanic perfectly. She's 3
Mhm.
cost inkable card. She sings for 5, which is way above her stats. But she also, when she comes into play, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and you can reveal a song card and put it in your hand. I think why most people dislike her is because she often comes down while a Cinderella is on the board,
That's what
or
I was
another
just
more
about to say.
powerful
She'll
singer that takes
Mhm.
advantage of the song you just got with her.
Exactly, yep.
And so yeah, but it's Disney. Characters sing. I get it. I just think that I think being able to sing for 3 on turn 1 is out of place. You
If
know,
we have Ariel and we don't
yeah,
have Cindy, I think she is
yeah.
a
I
very fair card.
I don't mind the singing for 4 on 2. It's kind of like this, right? Like you got how many characters cost 1 in Quest for 3? 0. There's a reason
Mhm.
why. How many characters cost 2 in Quest for 3? Well, there's 3 or 4, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like at certain levels in the game, some things are just a little too powerful, and I think that's a problem. Um, for Emerald, I chose Cursed Merfolk. Yeah, you knew I was choose this one. I want
Oh
this one to come
gosh.
back because this is the card that I'm gonna most hate see to go. To be honest with you, um, it's because this is my bread and butter in my Emerald Amethyst deck. I
Mhm.
I think it is the best one drop in the game, and I will argue till I'm blue in the face with you over it. You can't tell me any different. So. Um, Let It Go. I think this should come back because it is a great removal. It captures the flavor of, I think, the color right, and I think it's well cost. And it's inkable, but it's going to cost you putting your character, your opponent's character in equal, which benefits your opponent. And then Dragonfire, which I think is a standard by which removal really is measured, because in the first set they set the bar right. For 5 cost uninkable, you can get rid of any character. Now, everything else that gets rid of a character, if it's going to cost less, it's got to come at, well, you can only do a certain strength, or it has to be exerted. It has to be conditions on it, right? They set the bar here, right?
Yep,
At
that's like
5. So,
some caveats on the other ones.
right. So I think it should come back for that reason. I think they need
Mhm.
to continue just holding that line with it, and just let it come back. All right, so here we go. Let's get into our top choices because we're running out of time here tonight. If you didn't know it, I'm going to definitely ask that my favorite card come back. This is my favorite card in the game, and that is Ring the Bell. I just Emerald doesn't have much removal, and this is great removal if you can get that damage on something. And in the way I play the decks, a lot of times you're going to run into my stuff to get rid of it, and you'll leave something with the damage. I don't worry about Robin Hood at all with this card in my deck. In
That's,
fact,
I guess, fair.
this card was put in my deck specifically to answer the Robin Hood. Because they
That's
love
fair.
to smash it to your characters and get 2 lore, and then you just follow it up and say, bye bye. And they don't
Mhm.
even get to draw the card off of it. So that's
Yeah,
why I
they're still
like it.
drawing that card though, man. Robin
No, they're
Hood,
not.
so
Not on
good.
Robin Hood. No, if you banish it with
Oh,
this,
oh,
Robin
because
Hood
it didn't
doesn't draw the
challenge.
card.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Okay, yeah, no, that's
yeah,
good.
that's why I
Okay.
did. And it's also was put into my deck because of Big Cindy. I couldn't answer Big Cindy, but they would,
Yeah, it gets to
run in.
resist.
They would run into my crab or my fox or something and get rid of it, and I go, oh, you left the damage on it. I remember one game I saw that my opponent was going to shift Cinderella. I had just played Ursula, and
Hmm.
on turn 4 or something like that, or turn 3, and then he turned Cinderella sideways to sing a song, and I only had Ursula on the board, and I ran it into a Cindy to put the 1 damage on it, so that when Big Cindy came in the game, it had the 1 damage counter on
Uh,
it, so I could ring it out.
that's huge. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to do the
right.
damage
Yeah.
otherwise then through the
And
resist potentially.
one
Huh.
day I can recount the story of DLC Atlanta and my favorite card play sequence ever that I was involved in occurred with 2 ring the bells in my hand. So yeah, it was. I'll save that for another day. All right, here we go.
No, that's a good card. I think that would see play for sure.
Yeah, I love this card. It's great.
Hmm.
Um, Jake chose Piglet, 2 cost, inkable, 2/2. Quest for 1 says while you have, and he's a pirate captain, which is very important for him. While you have 2 or more other characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. Go ahead, Jake. Why do you want to
See
see
some
Piglet come
captain
back?
synergy. I chose Piglet because I think well, obviously, okay, if it hasn't been known, I'm a little bit of an aggro player, but having
Oh,
the 2 Quest for 3, but even on a 2/2 body is better than the other Quest for 3ers we have. There
mhm.
does come with the need to have 2 other characters in play, but when you're playing aggro, I feel like you're always going to have that. I just know that whenever Piglet is on the board, it seems like it's just an auto banish, like you need to deal with that or
Yeah,
else it's going to be a
I
problem.
agree. Yep.
But I don't think it's necessarily broken or busted in that way. It's more like just a pretty fair card where it's like, oh, we got to deal with that. I
Yeah.
think that it helps out the deck, and it's not an auto include because sometimes it doesn't get there. I feel like it's situational, but if we saw that get
I,
rotated, I feel like this would be a card
I
that
understand
would
why he's inkable. That's what aggravates me about this card.
I could see, yeah. If it was uninkable, I
Uh,
don't think it would.
it wouldn't be as
I think he would
aggravating.
still, yeah. I don't think he
Yeah.
would. I think he would still see play though. I
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
think it would be
yeah.
bad.
I don't doubt
Yeah,
that. You know.
yeah.
But you
I think it
got.
would make it more fair for sure.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
that's
I
why it
just love this
frustrates
card.
me. Well,
I
yeah.
think this card
I
is
could tell
so
you.
good flavor wise too. Being a poo pirate captain is just
Yeah.
so good. Like it
It's
just the whole
it's
everything
a
about it.
great
It's great.
card. I love playing
So
it.
good. Hmm.
I hate it when my opponent drops 2 on the board unexerted. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm just like, oh,
But then it's Elsa's best friend because you just are like, oh, exert
yeah.
the piglet,
Well,
please.
if you play it right. All right.
Hmm.
Okay. Here we go. My second choice for I hope comes back, and that's Bare Necessities. It is a 2 cost inkable Amber Song. Chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. This card to me is the equalizer of all equalizers in the game. Well, with the one exception. And this allows you, if you got a deck that you don't want your opponent to throw some problem thing down. I love playing this on turn 2 and taking something as simple as an inkable song out of somebody's hand or anything that's inkable so that they just slows them down long enough. Friends on the other side is probably my favorite target to snag with it. But anything that is going like my opponent's draw engine, just to disrupt it. So discard card to help them shift Diablo, whatever. I think it's a great card. It lets you peek at your opponent's hand and just just slow things down. Just yeah.
Getting the information, getting to see their
Yep.
curve, just
Right.
I think that information alone is really, really good. And then discarding a card, but it's not necessarily a song either, because you could choose a non-character. So you could
Correct.
do a
Yes.
location, you could do an
Location, item.
action,
Yep.
item, anything. Yeah. So I
Yep.
feel like that, and then just it being a song as well, singing it, like I think you're getting a lot of really good value out of that.
And it's not as overpowered enough to where if it comes back, it's like he's going to warp the meta or anything like that. It's just a good
Yeah.
utility card. All right, here
And I
we go.
thought it was, yeah, already just situational alone. It wasn't an
Yep.
auto include in every deck.
All right, so next card is Jake's number 2 choice, and that is Morph. 2 cost, inkable emerald card, 2/1. You may play any character with Shith on this character as if it had any name. Go ahead, Jake. Talk about your card.
I love Morph in the Floodborne scene, and just being able to shift any of the Floodborns on top of this is big because you don't need a smaller cost Floodborn of the same specific name. You could just have Morph there, and Morph
Yeah,
can shift on top of it. So I think that's good, and just with the Baymaxes and the newer
Mhm.
stuff in sets 5+, I think they're kind of leaning towards more of a Floodborne kind of like build. So I think Morph would just fit pretty
Yep.
perfectly in that deck.
I think that
But I would.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like just having like the changeling of this game. I think that would like since it's the only one, it
Mhm.
needs to be rotated.
Yeah, I like it too for that reason. I think that even when it was prevalent, and that would be back in the deck, the Emerald Steel deck that could shift
Hmm.
Robin Hood, could shift
Yep.
Tinkerbell, could
Beast.
shift Beast, could shift
Yep. Hmm.
Diablo. Even then, it
Oh
wasn't. You
yes,
never
definitely.
really felt like, oh, my game is over when you saw it hit the board. It wasn't
Nope.
oppressive. It freed up opportunities for your opponent. You got to respect that. It didn't really oppress you as
No, it
sitting on the
was
other
it was just
side of
morph.
it.
It doesn't do
Yeah.
much as
Right.
morph, but it just gives them
Yep. Yep.
opportunities.
Okay.
I
Here we
like
go.
it still. I think it's good.
So my top card that I want to see come back, and this might surprise folks because I haven't really talked about it much. I'm going to tell you that before I reveal it, I never have more fun trying to build around a card in all of Lorcana than this card right here, and I still do it to this day, and that's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, the song, 3 cost unequal Emerald Song. Return chosen character of yours to your hand to play a character with the same cost or less for free. I had so much fun building around this card. I just wanted to come back so I could have fun with new characters to build around it. That's it. I had fun with Lucifer, bringing him back, bouncing something and bringing it back. I had fun with all kinds of cards. I ran it in a mill deck, and it just abuse comes into play effects with characters. Bounce my genie back to my hand. Play Mother Knows Best, not Mother Knows Best, but Lady Tremaine. Get this card back out of my inkwell. Play the
They're
genie
like,
down again. Yeah,
that's
dude.
too
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
when they're like
yeah.
thinking they're like about the Lady Tremaine, like, what do I sack? I have 2 characters, and you're like, all right, bippity
Oh no,
bop boo,
not,
and they just have
not
to
that
get
one.
rid of the other one
It's
anyway.
sorry. It's not that Lady Tremaine. It's the one that lets you return an action back from the discard pile.
Oh, the do it again one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That one. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
but
but either way, I mean,
right. You'd play this card, and then you'd bounce your genie back to your hand, bring her into play, bring this card back out of your discard with her, and just have fun with your genie, just keeping cards off the board. Quest with it would aggravate, and it would stall me long enough to mill them out with whole new world or something. So, all
that's
right,
so fun.
yeah, this card to me is like, again, if you haven't tried to build a deck around this card, just do it. Just go out there and try it out. It's really fun. It's like, how can I abuse this? And it's a song, it's like it can be sung by the character that's going to return to your hand, and you can replay
Yeah.
that character. So it's just whatever. All right, here we go. Both of us agreed on the final card to be reprinted, and
Let's
you have not
go.
seen this card in either of our lists, and you probably would have thought it should have been in the first list of cards we don't want to see come back, but here it is. I cannot do Lorcana villain. be, be prepared.
Be prepared.
So,
Oof.
uh, you
This
know,
card.
yeah. So, yeah, banish all characters for 7, unequal. I think you've got to have a board wipe in this game.
You
You
have to have
have
the
to have it.
most fair board wipe in this game.
Correct. Yeah, a fair board wipe. It's equal.
Banish everything. Get
Now,
rid of it all.
right. It might not be equal in that you haven't committed stuff to the board, and that's part of the privilege of, you get to determine when it gets played if it doesn't get
Hmm.
snagged out of your hand,
Yep.
But that's the and your opponent should be smart enough to realize if you've got 5 cards in your hand and you're not playing anything and you're coming up on turn 7, he might be going to
Not
wipe
play
my board.
anything.
So you deserve it if you didn't prepare for
Hmm.
it. Says
Exactly.
be prepared, right? You should see the signs.
Very
Um,
fair. I think it's
right.
just super fair and very needed for the upcoming meta if we're
Yep.
going to rotate
I
a lot of
agree.
the Under the Sea, all that other sort of one-sided removal, then
Yeah.
I think we're definitely going to need to just take the most fair
Right.
one. Just bring that back.
Yeah, and I know a lot of
And
people
give us an
don't like it.
enchanted, please.
Yeah, right. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's polarizing, but again, the card's title tells you, the name tells you all of it. Look, you can see when your opponent's going to play it. You should know, right? So be prepared, right? So it's coming. I hope they reprint this because again, rumors are swirling about, what's coming out for mass removal. And if it's true, I don't think that's healthy. But this isn't an oppressive card at all to me.
No.
It comes at a
100%
cost, high cost to both sides.
You can't get mad when the opponent plays a Be Prepared. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, it's a reset button. You need a reset button. So
yep. Sometimes your opponent does have a little extra ink afterwards and can play some stuff, which makes you feel bad. But it happens.
All right, so we've come to the end of our list tonight. Feel free to drop us a comment in the comment section if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're watching us live here on the stream. You can drop a comment in chat before we close out everything. I do want to give a shout out, as I usually do, to Mattified. They gave us a mat that we're going to be giving away. It is a nice shiny foiled up spruced up Elsa mat. And so we're going to finalize how we're going to give it away. I can tell you that you might want to remember what my favorite card is, and I talked about it at some point in this, and I've talked about it on probably 3 other episodes. So just remember that'll probably play a big role in the giveaway. Any parting shots, Jake, before we close off for the episode?
Nothing. Thank you for having me on. Even with Sabrina not here, I feel like we killed it, and it was a solid podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I'm always like having you here and talking with you. Just to let everybody know, and I haven't let Jake and Sabrina know, but I think they knew anyways. We probably will not have an episode next week due to the fact that I will be traveling out of town for work. I will be in Boston. So if anybody listens that's in Boston, I would like to find somewhere. I want to drop in and shop up there on a night that Lorcana is being played and just kind of meet another community in another area. Yeah, just go local to somebody and just kind of. And what I'd like to do is just get some pictures and bring them back and share them on our next episode when we come back. So that would be kind of cool. That's just going to be my thing whenever I go around somewhere to be able to do that. So my next stop is right now Pro Play Summit Denver. I have been accepted as staff there. Woohoo! I will be scorekeeping again. So if you're there, you definitely stop by the table, say hi to me. Maybe I'll be at PAX West. I'm not sure. So until we see you again, which will probably be in 2 weeks, and a lot of reveals will probably happen between now and then.
Plenty to talk about by next week.
Plenty to talk about next week. And so hopefully they won't reveal any enchanted cards, because what I would like to do for our next episode is we want to talk about the cards we want to see come back, just so they can get the enchanted treatment that we feel like they deserved when they were around the first time. So, that would be great. So, again, we'll see you all in a couple weeks, and happy questing. And let's just keep our fingers crossed for nothing but positive information out of Ravensburger. They need, hey, I won't even ask for a home run at this point. A single would do for them. Just make it the first base, folks. Make it the first base. All right.
Yep.
First base is what we're aiming for. All right. Everybody have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya.